So yesterday we discussed regarding this application creation. So that is a basic process. So any project we start in Pega, so we need to configure the application setup. So we need to define a framework layer and we need to define the implementation application. So under that we are going to do the design. So as part of the yesterday's topic, I'll review once again quickly. So a quick review for the last session. So we know how to open Pega application. So then we need to start the server, log into the platform, and whatever we see, that is a PRPC platform or Pega Developer Studio. And inside that, see, you'll have a basic framework application. So when you log into the platform, Pega contains a basic framework application, or we can call it as a default framework. And in order to start a new application development, give me 1 second. Okay, so when you're using this application creation, so basically Pega has already a Pega itself is a application, okay, and in that we are going to develop new applications. So Pega application, whatever we call is it's a base framework, okay. Whatever Pega provided is a base framework, and when you start a new application development, we'll be creating one user-defined framework, and under that we can add multiple implementation applications. So that reason and all yesterday I discussed, we can once again go through the video. And as part of the application creation, so first we need to define the user-defined framework layer, and under that we can define this implementation layer. I defined one, and I ask you to create one more from your end. So you can create a two implementation application under the same framework. Suppose in the future, in the application requirement, how many implementation requirements are there? There is no limit. So under the same organization, we can add multiple implementations we can add as per the requirement. And not to define these applications, the widget is new application widget. So just we need to fill the basic parameters. So when you open that widget, so we need to choose the type as classic. See, Cosmos will be having a, that also we can use, but that is not recommended in the application creation. So classic is recommended to define any application development. So after choosing this classic, we have to provide the name for the application. Give the name according to the document names. So Alpha Insurance application, and after this open advanced settings and fill the details like structure of application you have to choose, and also define the organization name. So organization name, some random name will be getting, and some default structure will be getting implementation, change that to framework. So after these two changes, create the application and generate the user ID for this application. So once after application creation, so framework is created, and we need to generate some user ID. Okay, here I'm giving some ideas. Actually, give it as admin alpha. Okay, anything you can give, but give it as admin alpha here. And after adding that, some random password will be generated. Okay, so you have to make a note of that password in order to log into the application for the first time. And once you log in, we need to update the password. So in the first attempt only, you have to update the password to some new password and give it as rules. So here framework setup is completed, and after you log into the framework, same way, again open the widget, and this time choose your framework name and continue the steps in the widget and provide the name for the implementation application. I have given as Alpha Auto Insurance application. And after opening these, actually when you're creating implementation, no need to open any advanced settings. Directly it will take the organization details and default structure will be implementation. So just give the name and directly click on create application. So this will create the application in the backend, and no need to generate a separate ID. What are the ID created for the framework, same we can use for the implementation here. Okay, so same way, if you want to add one more implementation application, again log into the or switch to the framework application, again follow the same procedure. Okay, so up to here I discussed in the previous session. So continuation to that, today we'll understand some technical things like what are classes in Pega. So though these are all not manually created, Pega developer means compulsory he must understand what are the types of class layers we have, and what are the categories, like which classes are abstract, which classes are concrete, and some inheritance types are there. Those we are going to discuss now. It's important, but only technically you must know these points. Okay, practically we don't create anything, but technical understanding is must required for a Pega developer. Based on this, you will easily understand the coming process. Okay, like whenever we create the rules in application, it will be easy for you to understand better. Okay, easily you can understand where why we are creating the rules, in which class we are creating and all. It will be easy for you throughout the application. Okay, so without this, what classes are there and what types of layers are there, without you knowing this, if you directly jump into the practicals, so you cannot understand anything in the Pega development. Okay, so though it is practically not required, but technically you must know what are the things of what are the types of classes we have, and what inheritance types we have. You must have a basic understanding. Okay, that I'm going to discuss in current topic. Just only thing is, after this class, just review this document 4 or 5 times. Okay, these are all the terms will be there, right? Some technical terms and all, types of classes and all these things. Just you must have a basic idea, that's enough. Okay, no need to do any practical for this. Just a technical review the document few times to understand the technical terms what are I'm going to discuss. So log into application once before proceeding. So the ID I'm using is admit alpha, and the password is rules. So this will be the ID I'll be using to log into platform, and in this I'm going to develop the project. Okay. So whenever we log in, it will open Admin Studio first, and from here we need to switch to Developer Studio. So basically here the organization name given is Alpha, and framework name given is Alpha Insurance application, and implementation name given is, I created one and I ask you to create one more in your application. So if you want to create, you can create. Okay, not mandatory, but for practice try to add one more implementation under the framework layer. Okay, so I created this one, Alpha Auto Insurance application is created. Okay, so actually based on these two details, like framework and implementation details, like organization details and all, so in the Pega application some classes will be generated. Okay, so these classes and all, how many types of class layers are there? Okay, again each layer come under which type and all, so we are going to discuss now. So before that, for the framework and implementation, I'm using the same user ID I'm using. Okay, see, if you are not creating a user ID for the implementation, then automatically what are the ID initially created for the framework, same will apply for the implementation also. Another thing is, any design we are going to create under the implementation we are going to design now. Okay, and what about this framework means, if you want to add one more multiple implementations, then only we will switch to framework application. Otherwise, directly design we are going to define under implementation only if you are going to add one more implementation for your organization, then only we need to switch to framework layer again. Otherwise, directly design we are going to do under implementation itself. See, if I log in now, control minus, if you click, see, at a time control minus the name of application, you can see Alpha Auto Insurance application, that is currently we are under implementation layer. Okay, so suppose if you want to switch to framework, suppose if you want to add another implementation under the same organization, I told you, right? So we need to switch to, so there is an option called switch application. See, the ID is common for both framework and implementation here. So if you again want to switch to your framework application, so no need to log off and log in directly. So there is a menu called application menu, under this switch application, and you have to choose your framework application name. So if you select that, it will switch to Admin Studio first of all, and again when you go to this Developer Studio, now you can see the name as your framework application name, you can see. So if you need this implementation creation, one more implementation if you need, then you have to switch to the framework. Okay, again if you want to switch to your implementation back, again go to the menu, switch application, and choose the implementation name. So like that, using the common ID, so we are accessing both framework and implementation applications. Okay, so only thing is, just whenever you are going to add more implementation, then only we'll open the framework layer. Otherwise, directly design I'm going to do in the implementation itself. Okay. So now the thing is, generally in many web development technologies, there will be having some classes will be there. Okay, and one thing is Pega is an automation tool, right? See, when I design this generated this application creation, framework and implementation. So Pega will generate all the required classes in the background. So when that application setup is completed, so Pega will be generating some required classes. Actually, what is importance of classes here is, see, in Pega, we'll be having Pega rules. So any Pega rules are all the things, well, like every template we use in the part as part of design. So we will be calling as Pega rules. Will be calling. So those are some different set of categories of rules are available. So any of those rules, if you want to add in the application, it is possible to create only under class only we can define. Suppose some programming will be there. So any programming code if you want to define under the class we are going to define like that. So Pega structure is also similarly like that. So anything, any rules if you want to configure, or any rules if you want to create as part of design, only under the class only we can add. So Pega will be creating all the required classes. So when you define this application, mainly here which classes, under which classes will be working means based on your implementation creation and organization name. So based on the name of implementation application and based on the organization name, some main classes will be created. So under that we are going to define all the rules. Okay, and before that, Pega, what are the classes generated? So these are user defined classes. That is, after giving the names like organization and application names, these classes are generated. Means these are user defined classes. Like that, in Pega we will also have something called predefined classes will be there. Okay, see what are the classes now generated. So these are user defined classes. I'll show them. Okay, wait for a few minutes. See, Pega already contains some built-in classes. That is, before your application creation, some classes will be there in Pega. So those are called as predefined. And what are the classes generated after your application creation? Those are called user-defined. Okay, means it will be automatically created, but after your application generation, these are created, right? So those are called as user-defined classes, and which are already there in the Pega platform. So those are predefined or built-in classes. See, coming to the built-in classes, some 14 classes will be there. Just by heart them. Under that, we don't define any, but in the background, see, Pega is a complete application, and all the functionalities which are configured in the platform are developed under these built-in classes. Okay, so Pega systems team. So the Pega application which is developed and given to us. So all the built-in functionalities, rules, UI templates, everything, methods, functions, APIs, and the tools which we are using in the application, so these are all configured under these built-in classes. So directly we are not going to create anything in the built-in classes, but these all will be executing in the background, that is running in the background. All the functionalities which are given in the platform. Pega is an application, right? Framework application. So all the built-in rules which we have in the platform are developed under these built-in classes. And any design related to the new project, if you are going to add, so we need to define under user defined classes. And now we are going to understand about the user defined classes, and these predefined classes just by heart. In this at the rate base class is called super class, and under this some 13 subclasses will be there: work hyphen, data hyphen, int hyphen. Just by heart them as of now. Whenever I get a requirement and all, I'll tell you, like separately sometimes we'll be using these work hyphen, data hyphen, int hyphen classes. Okay, but as of now, just by heart these classes few times, you'll be familiar with all the names. Okay, and coming to user defined classes. Okay, see, basically after your application creation, see, go to this app explorer. See, in the left panel here, you can see when you open the platform, initially it will open this recent explorer. And if you want to switch to any rules if you want to see, or any classes if you want to see, you need to go to app explorer. That is the main layer. Give me 1 second, let me refresh once. Okay, so when you open this one, you can see this leaf icon is there, right? These are called classes in Pega. So the green color leaf icon is there, right? So these are classes in Pega. Like that, when you open your application or app explorer, so this main class will be there. For every implementation, one main class will be there. That is called as, we can call it different names: work layer, implementation class, okay, work pool, work layer, work class group, class structure. Okay, any names we can use, but if you are using the name means you use it as work layer, you can use, but there are some alternate names are there. Don't worry, if you just want to review them, we can review, but the main name is, we can call it as work layer will be calling. So the format will be like this. In the work layer, the starting name is your organization name. The second name, if you see, based on the implementation application name given, it will truncate into 8, 9, or 10 characters I told you yesterday. So if it is first two letters, if it is having 8, 9, or 10 characters, it will take automatically. So based on our application name, Alpha Auto Insurance Application, in that first two letters is having 8 characters. So it will truncate and give the name as Alpha Auto. This is also called as division name or application name. And the third one is called as unit name. So generally, like that, apart from work layer, you'll be having two other important layers: data layer and integration layer. So basically, there is one more layer, is the UI layer, I'll discuss later. But these are the three main layers which will be created. And if you see, all the layers are combination of three things: organization, division, and unit names. Okay, every layer is a combination of organization, division, and unit names. So organization is the main class, under that division is the subclass, and under that this work is the subclass under the division. So like that, in the data layer, the last name, unit name will be data. Under integration layer, the unit name will be int. See, the thing is, why they divide into different layers means, based on the type of design we create in the application. So actually, in the work layer, main design we are going to create 70 to 80% of the design will create in the work layer, and tables creation will create in the data layer. And any integration connections, like any web services and all, if you want to configure communicating with any external applications, or external applications if you want to communicate to Pega, we have to define in the integration layer. So it will be easy to work in the application. So when already, so the parts are already divided, right? The which kind of work where we have to create and all, it is already decided. So it will be easy for the developer to create the rules in the application. So what kind of rules we are going to define on practice, you will understand. In data layer, what kind of rules we will define. In integration layer, what kind of rules we can define and all. On practice, you will be understanding. Not in one session, it is not possible to give a idea, but going forward, every session will be working on every new rule will be working. At the time, mostly most of the rules will define in the work layer, and only some limited rules will be there, some 4 to 5 types of rules, those only will be creating in the data layer, mainly tables. Apart from that, from few rules also will be creating in this. And some integration related concepts like connectors, services, mapping rules, resource rules and all, we are going to define in the integration layer. Like that, in the application they have given the path easy. Okay, so where it is, everything is structured here. So what kind of design we are going to create, accordingly all the kind of layers are provided. Okay, and that is same thing given description here. So here every layer is a combination of organization, division, and unit classes. And here one thing is, in predefined classes also, if you observe, we have work hyphen, data hyphen, int hyphen. Actually, work hyphen is different, and in the unit class work is different, and data hyphen in predefined classes is different from data in the unit class here. Okay, so even though name it will display same, but after the name, hyphen will be there for the predefined classes. But in the unit classes, there is no hyphen, just work data int. So these are unit classes, and predefined classes, in this you'll be having hyphen after the class name. This is different, and this is different. Okay, and next thing is, So actually what are the classes available? Okay, if you want to see other classes and all, you'll be having some explorer. So this is called, this window, autocomplete window is there, right? This is called class explorer. In any other class if you want to open, you'll be having just all the class types which are generated. You can see in the drop down, if you want to choose data layer, you have to choose that one. If you want to choose integration layer, you have to change it manually every time. Okay, so like that, by default when you open means, it will be the main implementation class is your work is the main implementation. That's why this will display automatically in every application. Okay, like that, if you create one more implementation, then what happens is this division name will be different, alpha hyphen alpha life hyphen work. Okay, if you already created any second implementation, at that time you'll be getting alpha hyphen alpha life hyphen work. So like that, in the application you'll be getting these classes automatically after application creation. Now what we are going to know is, so this background and all this come under some oops concepts. It will be getting like a classes and inheritance concepts and all. It's a core Java related. Okay, just we must understand, no need to define anything manually. Already everything is predefined in, everything is generated and defined in the background. Only thing is, again, in these classes generated, which classes are abstract and which classes are concrete, just if you know that, that is enough. Okay, you are not going to manually define anything. Just everything is already structured and defined in the background. Just know the meaning of abstract and concrete. And in Pega, which classes come under abstract and which classes come under concrete, we are going to understand. Okay, see, generally in Pega, abstract and concrete are the any class. If we have in Pega, either it will be type abstract or it will be of type concrete. So basically I'll give a meaning of abstract. So these are nothing but reusable classes. Any reusable classes we have in Pega, so we have to call them as abstract, and it is Pega defined. Means you are not going to decide whether it is abstract or concrete. Pega will decide and give it to you. And just we must know in the application what are the classes created. So which classes come under abstract, just you have to know, that's it. See, generally reusable means, only thing we cannot do in these abstract classes is we cannot compile the compile the rules. See, what is compilation? After one session you'll understand. Maybe on Thursday session you are going to understand, Wednesday or Thursday session. Okay, or not Wednesday, Thursday session you'll understand what is compilation and all. As of now I'm just using the term. In abstract classes we can create the rules and we can reuse in concrete, but we cannot compile them. Just remember these 2 points. So abstract classes are, one statement is reusable classes. In these, we can create the rules, but we cannot execute or we cannot compile them. Okay, just to read, remember those two statements. That is enough about abstract. Apart from that, for you, no need to have any Java knowledge or any other knowledge is not required. Okay, just know these two statements. Abstract classes are reusable, and in this we can create the rules, but we cannot compile. If you want to compile means we have to reuse in the concrete. We have to reuse. Okay, then that all practically we are going to implement step by step. But only thing is, in your application which classes are abstract, if you want to know, see, after your application creation, simple easy way to remember is, except your work layer, remaining all the classes are structured as your abstract. Okay, in your application, after your application creation, except your work layer. See, what is work layer? Alpha hyphen alpha auto hyphen work. Except this one, remaining every class, any other class if we have in the platform, remaining all the classes come under abstract only. Okay, so the easy way to remember is Pega predefined classes. Because why predefined classes will be abstract means those are reusable. Like that, data layer is abstract. Data layer and all, why it is reusable means, again, in this we'll be creating tables and we have to reuse in the application. That's why this is abstract. Integration layer is abstract because in this also we are going to work on some integration concepts, and any services or and all we have to create and we have to reuse in the application. So that is also abstract. Organization and division classes will be abstract. So the thing is, most of the classes which are available in the platform, except your work layer, come under abstract type. Okay, now in concrete, which types actually in the future, apart from the classes which are generated, sometimes in the application some subclasses will be creating. Under the data layer will be creating subclasses, under work layer will be creating subclasses, and under integration layer will be creating subclasses. Okay, so at that time some new types will be generated. What are those? Now I'll be discussing. So this, if you remember, first of all, when application is generated, so except your work layer, remember one easy way is to remember which classes are abstract in application. All predefined classes are abstract except your work layer. Other user defined classes are also abstract type. Okay, apart from that, no need to have any knowledge, guys, because we are not going to decide which class is abstract or concrete. Pega will automatically set up that one. If you want to view any class which is abstract or concrete, except this I told, any other class will be abstract only, right? If you want to check any class which is whether it is what type of class it is, if you want to know, see, there are two ways to check. If you right click on the class, there is one option called definition. There is an option called definition. If you click on that, you can find out what type of class. You cannot change, and no need to change also. As a developer, we are not going to change the type of class here. So what are the class it is generated, we have to as it is use that one. No, there is no case you'll be getting to change the type of class manually. Okay, so data layer is abstract, you can see here. Like if you want to, there is other way to check. So apart from right click on class and click on definition, see under the class you will be getting the sysadmin category. Why sysadmin you will be getting means class come under sysadmin rule. Okay, class is a sysadmin rule. Expand that, expand class option, and you can see your class name. You can see, click on this. So that also will go to the same page. That class rule form will open. So if you want to open the class rule form, from sysadmin category you can expand and open, or else right click on the class option and you need to click on definition. So like that, any class if you want to know what type it is, if you want to know, so you can open and you can check it in this way. Okay, so if you right click on this, wait, still it is loading. So if you right click on that, just click on definition, this will help you to check the type of class. Okay, so again already page is open, that's why the same page will display again. So like that, any class if you want to manually verify also we can verify. Like that, if you want to check organization class, say organization class also will be abstract. Division class means, see here division class name will be alpha. If an alpha auto will be called as the division class. So if you check on this, same, right click on this and click on definition, that is also abstract. So like that, what are the details given here? Except your work layer, remaining all the classes are abstract. More about this when practically implementing some scenarios, you'll understand better. Okay, but as of now, just today's session, just know which classes are abstract. In abstract means reusable. In this we can create the rules, but we cannot compile them. Just 2 points are enough to remember. Okay. Now coming to concrete, actually in abstract there are no categories, but in case of concrete we have three categories of concrete are there. But the thing is, I told you only work layer is concrete, but in the future some subclasses will be creating, and those come under the other two categories. Initially only this type only will be there in application. See, that is your work layer come under concrete is a class group. But in the future what happens means, see, before that, difference, if they ask you difference between concrete and abstract, if they ask you, in concrete classes we can reuse the rules, we can create the rules, and also we can compile them. But in abstract means, the abstract and all, we can create the rules but we cannot compile them. Just at that point, that 2 points if you know, that is enough to understand basically what is abstract and what is concrete. Only thing is, abstract means we cannot compile, in concrete we can compile. Just remember that 2 points, that's enough to understand what is Pega. Okay, and what are the classes in Pega, just to know that, that is enough. But here in the concrete we have three categories are there, right? So which classes come under the other categories, I'll just give a review, because these other two categories presently we don't have in the application, we'll be creating in the coming scenarios. Like under the work layer if you create subclasses, and under the data layer if you create subclasses, and under integration layer if you create subclasses, these two categories will be generated, and which come under which category, now I'll explain. For that I'll open a small image. Say basically your work layer come under the first type. Concrete is a class group. And one more thing is, per implementation application, one is a class group we can have. Okay. So if you create one implementation, so that will be one class group. If you create second implementation for the same organization, you can have second class group. Second concrete is a class group you can have. Five implementations are there. Five is a class groups you can have. So as of now, for one implementation, you'll be having only one concrete is a class group will be there. And if you want to see that, we open that work layer. Just I'll show you how it is generated. It is in the background. So right click on this, just click on definition. See, today's topic no need to think too much. Just if you know what type of classes and which type those are, that is enough, guys. Don't worry about the backend part and all. Pega will generate everything in the background. Just remember the types and all. That is enough. Okay. So here, if you see work layer is concrete, and if you see the type is a class group. Okay, that we cannot change. That is already generated by Pega platform when application is created. So we don't change those things in the background. Okay, we will never change them. And coming to the other types, what are the other types means? See, basically when you're working on any application, see, during application creation only work layer, data layer and integration layer only will be created. But in the future, we'll be creating some subclasses under work layer, and tables if you create will be creating subclasses, and when working on integrations we'll be creating subclasses. So these three things and all we will be creating in the coming scenario step by step. Okay. So if you want to divide our application into more modules, then we'll be creating these classes. So modules are nothing but case types in Pega, or other name is work classes. Any subclasses defined under this, the name is work classes or case types or modules will be calling. Any tables are created will be calling as data classes. And when working on any integration concepts, services or connectors if you configure, under integration classes will define. Okay. So these only, as of now, these three only available: work layer, data layer and integration layer. So these and all remaining and all, so based on requirement we are going to configure in the application. So work layer is concrete is a class group, data layer is abstract, integration layer is abstract. Okay. But now we'll understand. I'll show you some chart. Mm, Give me a second. See here. See, work layer means I told you already. Okay, alpha hyphen alpha hyphen work, which come under concrete is a class group. Okay, that is fixed. No need to change. Data layer is there, which come under abstract. Generally, abstract classes come under not a class group. Okay, that also it is already created. Integration layer is also abstract, not a class group. But in the future, when I create any subclasses under work layer, okay, so those come under concrete belongs to class group. See, why belongs to class group means, see how again I can create multiple work classes in application. See, if I want to divide my application into five modules, I can create five work classes. So five concrete belongs to class groups can be created. 10 modules are there means 10 concrete belongs to class groups can be created. So under the work layer, any subclasses are created, automatically the type will be generated with concrete belongs to class group. Okay. So just to know that whenever I work on these case types and all, at that time these will be automatically created. As of now, just know work classes come under which type means, just remember right now concrete belongs to class group. Why belongs to means, under the work layer we are creating, that's why under is a class group we are creating this. That's why this come under belongs to class group. This term they have given as concrete belongs to class group. Suppose in the data layer, if you create any subclasses, alpha hyphen alpha auto hyphen data hyphen some name, so these under the abstract classes, if you create any, they have given the type as concrete does not belongs to class group. Under abstract class, if you define, that is under data layer, if you create any subclasses, those come under concrete does not belongs to class group. Same will apply for the integration classes also, because integration layer is abstract, and under that if you define any, those come under concrete does not belongs to class group. See, that is Pega design structure. So we can't decide that, or we can't change that one. Pega has already defined that structure in the background. So any subclasses are created under data layer or integration layer, automatically those come under concrete. The reason is why it does not belongs to means, because your abstract is not a class group. Under that, if you create any, so automatically they have given some technical term as concrete does not belongs to class group. So don't worry too much logically. If you think, don't worry, this is pega defined, okay, pega structure defined. So we cannot change or we cannot update those things. Automatically these will be created. Only thing is we have to only provide the names in the runtime. Automatically these types will be created. That I'll show you whenever we work on tables, integration classes and work classes. At the time again we will be understanding them. As of now, just to review these things and know again in the concrete what are the categories we have, which classes come under again which concrete type and all. If you know as of now, that is enough. Okay, just know the technical terms right now. Whenever we create these subclasses and all, then again I'll be discussing again which come under belongs to, does not belongs to. Automatically it will be created. At the time I'll show again. So the same thing given here. Okay, so the same thing just in a structured way I've given. So in the concrete, three types will be there, but in abstract there are no types. Okay, but in concrete, work layer come under is a class group, and any subclasses created under the work layer, those come under belongs to class group, and any data classes or integration classes created, those come under does not belongs to class group. So any classes we have only these types. Any application you work, only these classes only will be there. Only thing is based on the design requirement. So sometimes will be most of the design will be creating in the work layer. Then any data modeling design and all will be creating in the data layer and data classes, and any integration related will be creating under integration classes. Okay? So like that it will be easy for you to work in the application. So if you just know these technical terms and all, then it will be easy wherever we need to create the rules and all. So directly under the respective classes we can define them. Okay, once again, so these classes are though what are the application generated. So Pega will be generating some user defined classes automatically after the application creation. In that the categories are predefined and user defined are the two things. Predefined means in every built-in application these predefined will be there, and based on the organization and division names it will be creating these user defined classes. Okay, and in predefined these are the list of classes I told, right? Just to review them. And in user defined means first of all three layers are categorized, and each layer is a combination of organization, division and unit names. Like the data layer and integration layer also will be created. And here all the classes what are we have, it is categorized into abstract and concrete. So abstract and concrete difference is, in abstract we can create the rules, we cannot compile them, these are reusable classes. In concrete we can reuse from abstract classes, compulsory any rule created in abstract we have to reuse in concrete, and there we can also compile them. So that compilation process and all, don't worry, within 1 2 sessions you'll understand. Okay, and in concrete actually initially after application creation only your work layer only will be there, that will be concrete. But after in the based on our development requirement, so we'll be further creating the other types of classes also. Any subclasses, that is work classes are created, those come under concrete belongs to class group. Any tables or integration classes if you are creating, those come under concrete does not belongs to class group. So these are the types of classes will be available. See, for this no need to have any programming knowledge or any coding knowledge or Java knowledge. Okay, just a review these technical points, that is enough. Just whatever you do by heart or whatever you remember them. So just a review this document few times, you will be familiar with all these terms within 1 2 days. Maybe in one day you cannot remember this, but again every day once open this document and review these points once again. Okay, again and again for 1 week if you review, you can remember all these points. Okay, apart from that you are not going to create any classes manually. Just everything, any class is generated, it will be showing in the background, it will be what type of class it is, everything will be generated. Okay, and okay, now apart from that there is a small topic, inheritance. Whenever a class is generated, in the background for those classes some inheritance also will be created. In pega wise, in the pega built-in application, inheritance is categorized into two types. Basically what is inheritance, for that I'll show one small image. See, we're having these classes, right? Suppose organization is nothing but alpha, division is nothing but your alpha auto. Suppose under your framework, if you create the second implementation, it will become alpha life. Division 2 is alpha life, assume that. And under that, we have these unit classes, work data int. And in division 2 also will be having work data int. The thing is, what is this inheritance means? Parent to child. See, in organization, if you define any rules like properties or any UI design, if you have, you can automatically reuse in all the implementation applications, all the units you can reuse. Okay, see, sometimes if any common data is there in both the implementations which come under one organization, if we have any common data, directly we can open alpha class, and under that we can define the rules, so that if any rules if want to reuse in multiple divisions, like in multiple implementations, directly we can define in the organization class. Suppose in all the units, if you need some properties, some common properties are required in all the units, then you can directly create in the division 1. If you create in division 1, that is in alpha auto, if you create only in the alpha auto units, only you can reuse that particular rules. If you create in alpha life, under the alpha life units only you can reuse the rules. So the thing is, in the application, sometimes you will be creating rules in organization, division, in unit classes also you'll be creating. If you create in work means, under the work subclasses whatever we have, though there we can reuse them. If you create in data any rules, under the data classes we can reuse them. So like that, if you create in the top level organization class, under this if you create, up to all the subclasses we can reuse the rules. So like that, inheritance is nothing but parent to child, we can access the data from application, parent classes to child classes, we can reuse the data. That is inheritance. And inheritance is already created, no need to do again manual configuration. Only thing is, just two types of inheritance they'll ask you to explain you in interviews. What are the inheritance types in Pega? If they ask you to explain, just you must know some points, right, to explain what are the types. So that I'm going to discuss now. See, generally in Pega platform, inheritance are categorized into two types: pattern inheritance and direct inheritance. So, what is pattern? First, I'll discuss. See, the connection is there, right, between user-defined classes, between the classes hyphen is there, right, between organization to division and division to unit. So that particular relation, whatever we have, that connection between organization and division or division to unit classes, that is called pattern inheritance. So pattern is created based on user defined classes, and that is represented by checkbox internally. Any class if you open, you will be having this option called okay, I'll maximize the size of the screen. So you can see something called class inheritance. For every class which is generated, you can see one is pattern will be there, another one is below that you can see something called directed. Say pattern means just nothing but connection between the user defined classes. It is represented by checkbox, and any class if you open, this checkbox will be enabled. So another point in pattern is, see, for every class by default it will be there, and we will never remove the pattern inheritance. Don't worry, this checkbox will be never removed for any class. Okay. Another thing is, in pattern inheritance, a child can have one or more parents. See, if you take work, how many parents are there? Division is one parent, and organization is another parent. So like that, in the future, if I create any subclasses under this, then work is one parent, division is one parent, and organization is another parent. So in pattern, a child can have one or more parents we can have. Another thing is, if you remove the pattern also, if I try to save this, it will not throw any error. So pattern is, they may ask you, pattern is optional or mandatory. See, pattern is not mandatory, because if you remove, what happens actually, this relation will be disconnected. That is, any data we have in the other parent classes, I cannot reuse in the subclass. But the thing is, this will never happen in real time, so they are never going to remove the checkbox. Okay, but just I showed an example. But if they ask this question, pattern is optional or mandatory, means it is optional only. Okay, not mandatory, because if you remove means it is not throwing any error message, so it is not mandatory. So just like that, these technical points, if you know, that is enough. So the first type is pattern. So pattern is created based on user defined classes and is represented by checkbox here. And pattern, in case of pattern, a child can have one or more parent, and pattern is optional. Okay, but by default for every class this pattern will be generated, and this checkbox will be enabled. We don't remove that pattern inheritance at any time of application development. So they will never remove the checkbox option. Okay. So like that, any other class, if you open and check, like if you check for any other class also, this pattern will be there. So right click on this, click on definition. So whether it is abstract or concrete, so compulsory class inheritance will be there for every class. So pattern will be enabled by default for every class in the application. Now apart from that, there is one other type called directed inheritance or direct inheritance. See, what is direct inheritance means? See, the thing is here, if you take any layer, mainly if you take any layer here, a work layer will be having some direct inheritance. So data layer will have some direct inheritance as data hyphen. An integration layer will have some direct inheritance as int hyphen. The thing is, these are again some predefined classes. See, work hyphen or work hyphen cover hyphen, data hyphen, int hyphen. See, in the work layer or in data or integration layer, if you want to reuse any of the built-in functionalities, so without direct inheritance given, they cannot reuse any of the functionalities. See, all functionalities related to work layer are defined under work hyphen or work hyphen classes. And any tables if you want to create or any data model rules if you want to create, so all the functionalities are given in the data hyphen classes. Without giving this as a direct inheritance, I cannot define anything in the data layer, and all the integration functionalities are defined under int hyphen class. So if this is not given as a direct inheritance for integration layer, we cannot reuse any of the integration functionalities. But Pega, what will do? Pega will already decide and it will configure all the direct parent for every class in the application. For mainly, if you take any layer, already this direct inheritance will be chosen in the drop down. Okay, we don't change that again. If you take a work layer, it will be okay. Let's take the work layer. So if you take the, so I'll open work layer once. So right click and click on definition. Maybe this session is totally boring, but just you must know these points right technically. Whether it is boring or whatever, you can't do anything. So just you have to review the document after the session. Okay, but it will be completely boring today's session, I know, but you have to bear this. So this concrete, if you see, concrete is a class group, and if you scroll down you can see the type of inheritance. Okay, so work hyphen cover hyphen. Okay, in some old versions it will be there as work hyphen. From 7.3 and 7.4 version they have given as work hyphen cover hyphen. So like that, if you take data layer or integration layer, data layer means it will be having data hyphen. If you take integration layer, it will be having as int hyphen. So like that, in the application, this direct inheritance will be already configured. Okay, that also we can't change. So for every layer, if you take some predefined class will be there as a direct parent, and here only one direct parent only per layer it will be we can give. See, drop down means how many classes we can give as a parent. Here maximum only one class only we can give. So like that, so in case of pattern means I can have one or more parent I can have, but in case of direct inheritance, only one direct inheritance only we can assign. Okay, and apart from that, if you remove any direct inheritance, it will throw some error message, because direct inheritance is mandatory. See, if I remove the class name, it is going to throw, because see, one simple thing guys, without giving direct inheritance we cannot save the work layer. If unable to save the work layer means we cannot do any design in the work layer. So Pega during application creation only, in the background, which type of inheritance, what parent class and all, everything configured. Okay, based on the type of layer it will be everything configured in the background. If not given means what happens, we can't save the class. If unable to save the class means any of the built-in functionalities I cannot reuse. So same will apply for the remaining layers also. So again, if I give some random name, it will not take, because for work layer all the functionalities will be there under work hyphen cover hyphen. So if you give some random class again, some predefined class if you give, it will throw some error again. Compulsory class group should inherit from work hyphen or any of its subclasses. So it is mandatory that we have to provide the direct inheritance, and that too what type of layer it is, accordingly we have to provide the class types. So it will be work hyphen and cover hyphen, you have to select in the drop down. Means you don't select actually, it is already configured. Only thing is if I remove means it will throw the error message. Okay, like that for every layer direct inheritance is already there, it is mandatory. If you take work layer, it is work hyphen cover hyphen. If it is data layer, it is data hyphen. If it is integration layer means int hyphen. Like that in the future, if you create any subclasses, then what happens means if you create any work classes, then work layer will be direct parent. So if you create any tables means data layer will be direct parent. If you create any integration classes, integration layer will be direct parent. At that time I'll show it again. Okay, so actually up to here, after application generation, so we are not going to do anything, just understand the technical things. Okay, so like what types of classes we have, different classes, because Pega anywhere you work, these will never change in future. This from starting 15 years, if you take these class types or inheritance type, they will not change in between the versions and all. Any version you work, this structure, this pattern, these types and all, commonly it will be there in every application. Only thing is maybe your organization and region names may be different. Apart from that, this pattern, class layers pattern, so class types pattern, inheritance types pattern, so this will never change in any organization and any application if you work in Pega development. Okay, so that's why before understanding Pega again, so just if we have this basic understanding, it will be easy to create the rules, where we are creating the rules, where we are reusing them, so where we are going to compile them and all. Then it will become easy when you again work on the coming scenarios in the application. Okay, up to here just informational only, guys, no practice required. Just after application creation, just review the document once, so that will help you to understand the basic types of classes and types of inheritance we have in Pega platform. Okay, so up to here just to go through, like that if you want to check any inheritance tree for any class, see right click on, if you right click on class and all, there will be some inheritance tree for every class. So if you click on this inheritance, you can find that it is read only. Just if you want to check, you can check. Like a work layer will have a parent as division, division will have parent as organization, organization will have direct parent as work hyphen cover hyphen, for that work hyphen, for that at the rate base class. See any class if you take in Pega, at the rate base class will be the super class. So like that if you check for some other class, like that inheritance will be automatically generated. Only thing is just we must know the types of classes and what is the parent for each class. Just if you know that information, that is enough. So this is data layer. For this parent is division, for division parent is organization, for this parent is data hyphen, and for this parent is at the rate base class. So one thing here, if you observe any class, if you take the super class will be at the rate base class. Under that some subclasses will be there like data hyphen, work hyphen, int hyphen, and under that you will be having these user defined classes. Okay, that is a defined structure, everything is here defined. You can't modify or you cannot change the design pattern or design structure. Okay, only thing is what is your requirement, upon that we are going to reuse all the available functionalities and do the development. Okay, that from tomorrow we are going to continue the practicals. Okay, up to here whatever I discussed in the last two classes also just informational. Application installation, application creation also you're not going to do in the real time, and even this classes concept also will be there up to here. From tomorrow the actual practicals will start in Pega. Okay, so that's about today's topic, guys. So go through these things, and tomorrow we are going to understand the continuation, like what are rules, how to create the rules and how to start the rules and all. So we are going to start from tomorrow's topic. Okay, any questions? Okay, any questions and any pending enrollments you have to complete by today end of the day. So if you have any coordinators, contact the coordinators. And Suresh, you joined from who is your coordinator?